I've got the map, I've got the book, and I've got fresh hot weather riding gear. We're going to India. MotoTrek has hit over 30,000 subscribers, and this we decided was the perfect time to hit some of the common questions and give you some obscure tips that didn't seem to fit anywhere else. Okay, so yes, I do training, and that's why we're going to India. In May, I'll be with Top Gun India Training Academy as a guest instructor, training through 4 different cities for almost a month. I've never been to India. I am stoked. I am so excited to be going. India is gonna be hot, hot, hot. Like 97 degrees hot. While I'm in India, I'm gonna have a great chance to try out the new Revit Cayenne Pro. They sent it out so we can try it out. I'm gonna do a full, complete review of this while we're in India. Once I'm done with that, I'm coming back for the summer to do training up at my school, Puget Sound Safety Off-Road in Washington and the surrounding states. And then in November, I'll be doing a 10-person tour through South Africa with Tour USA. So if you're interested in coming to play with me, there's plenty of opportunities. So this thing around my neck is called a neck brace. And it's strictly so that if I fall off the bike, I don't end up with hyperextension or damaged vertebrae or end up paralyzed. The other question I get asked is why I choose this particular brace, and that's strictly because it mounts to my jackets. And it's one of the reasons I wear the Revit jackets is because the brace is part of the jacket. Let me tell you about how we mount the electronics to the bike. We use ram mounts. So some of those mount through the controls, some of those are on the handlebars. Also, just above the controls on the bike, I have this nice metal band that goes down to the frame, so we can mount directly to that and have a very stable camera facing back at me. I don't mount anything to the windshield because it's too flimsy for mounting camera gear. It'll shake all over the place and you won't have a good shot. I use these same mounts for all the electronics I keep on the bike. So primarily, I keep my area on the dash pretty clear. The only thing I keep on here all the time is an X mount, which I keep my iPhone on, and I use the phone apps for most of my navigation. If I'm doing tours or trying to build routes or tracks, then I'll mount my Garmin 680 Montana, and I'll mount that to the bike, but I take that off most of the time. What's the little pink spinny thing? That's simply some earplugs. On the right side, this little red strap is just a Velcro strap. It's a front brake strap, so if I want to lock the front wheel, I can wrap it around the handlebar and the front brake so the bike doesn't get away. I do keep a couple of carabiners up on the bike. I use this to secure the helmet to the bike when I set it up on the mirror. This way the wind doesn't blow it off. Somebody doesn't come by and grab my helmet. I hook it through the D-rings. I hook it to the bar end, and then I place it on the mirror. And this way, if something happens, the helmet gets knocked off, it doesn't actually hit the ground and have any damage to it. The black windshield has a very specific purpose, and there's 2 reasons to have one, actually 3 good reasons. One is I'm too cheap to buy a tinted shield. So this one I black out, I use bed liner on the inside. But the 2 functional reasons for this is at night when the light is shining through that shield protection on the front of my headlight, it reflects back and illuminates the shield, and it causes more night blindness. So this keeps it nice and dark. But the more important thing is I use an iPhone or a smartphone for most of my navigation, and that's always up on the dash. So during the day, it protects it from all the UV and all the heat. One of the things I do to make all my electronics universal is I change all the plugs to an SAE type of plug. So whether I'm using my charger for recharging electronics, the GPS, or whether I need to plug in a USB charger to keep my iPhone or smartphone charged, this allows all of them to work no matter where I am. So I can put my iPhone in my bag, I can have it up beside the bike. Where do I get my hats? Well, I don't have a single source. I've gotten some when I was over in Ireland, some I buy at different stores, so basically I'm always shopping for a hat. I can't believe you guys asked me how much I weigh. That's such a personal question. I'm 6 foot tall, I have a 32-inch inseam, and I weigh 100 to 185 pounds, depending how many burgers I eat that day. I lose my keys all the time. What I do is I buy a small S-hook and I keep it on every single jacket on the left side. I put a small loop of string through my keys, and then every time I can just hook it to the jacket. This also means if I forget what jacket I left my keys in, it's a lot easier to scan across the front of them than dig through every single pocket. A lot of you have asked about what cameras and what gear we use to shoot the videos. This is the Cena 10C. It works for video on the helmet, but it's also our communication so we can talk back and forth. In the classroom, we're using the Canon C100, and in the field, our primary field camera is the Panasonic GH5. In many of our early episodes, we use the Osmo from DJI, and now we use the Crane 2 as a stabilizer for the Panasonic. And for our aerial shots, we're using the DJI Mavic Pro drone. Well, that's it, and we're really happy with the way things are going with the channel. See you soon.